Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. We all have big dreams, goals, and ambitions. But too often it's not external obstacles that hold us back, it's our own bad habits. These habits creep into our daily lives and slowly chip away at our success, happiness, and peace of mind. Today I want to talk about 7 destructive habits that we must battle every day if we want to live a fulfilling and productive life. Procrastination is one of the biggest enemies of success. It often starts small, a thought like I'll do it later, but it quickly snowballs into missed deadlines, incomplete tasks, and unrealized goals. The problem with procrastination is that it creates a false sense of comfort. We convince ourselves that we work better under pressure or that we have plenty of time, but in reality, we are only making things harder for ourselves. The longer we delay, the more overwhelming the task becomes, and eventually we either rush to complete it with subpar results or avoid it altogether. One of the main reasons people procrastinate is fear. Fear of failure, fear of imperfection, or even fear of the effort required to complete a task. Our minds trick us into thinking that avoiding a difficult task will make us feel better, but the truth is that procrastination only leads to guilt, stress, and anxiety. The weight of unfinished tasks lingers in our minds, draining our energy and motivation. Instead of resting peacefully, we constantly feel behind, burdened by what we haven't done. To overcome procrastination, we must take control of our mindset and our actions. One effective strategy is the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to start, do it immediately. This simple technique helps break the cycle of hesitation and builds momentum. Another approach is the Pomodoro technique, where you work for 25 minutes with full focus, then take a short break. This method not only makes tasks feel more manageable, but also improves productivity by keeping your mind engaged. Setting clear and realistic goals is another way to fight procrastination. Instead of saying, "I'll finish this project today," break it down into smaller steps like, "I'll complete the first section in the next hour." This reduces the feeling of being overwhelmed and makes the task more approachable. Additionally, removing distractions like putting your phone on silent, working in a quiet environment, or using website blockers can significantly boost your ability to focus. Another important aspect is self-discipline. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline keeps you moving forward even when you don't feel like it. Building the habit of starting tasks immediately, even when you don't want to, strengthens your ability to take control of your time and responsibilities. Remember, action creates motivation. The moment you start working on something, you often realize that it wasn't as difficult as you thought, and that momentum carries you forward. Procrastination is a daily battle, and overcoming it requires consistent effort. The more you take action despite hesitation, the easier it becomes to avoid the trap of delay. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, create progress by starting now. Negative self-talk is one of the most destructive habits a person can have. It is the quiet, constant voice in your mind that tells you, "You're not good enough." You'll never subconscious shape the way you see yourself and the world around you. The problem with negative self-talk is that it often feels like the truth, when in reality it is nothing more than self-imposed limitations. Over time, these thoughts become ingrained, turning into beliefs that hold you back from taking risks, chasing opportunities, or believing in your own abilities. The roots of negative self-talk can come from many sources: childhood experiences, past failures, societal pressures, or even the way others have spoken to us. If you've ever been told that you're not smart enough, not talented enough, or not capable enough, Those words can take root in your mind, shaping your perception of yourself. The human brain naturally focuses on the negative more than the positive, a phenomenon called the negativity bias. This means that one criticism can outweigh 10 compliments, reinforcing self-doubt and insecurity. When negative self-talk becomes a habit, it affects not only your confidence but also your actions. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not capable, you might stop trying altogether. You might hesitate to speak up in meetings, avoid taking on challenges, or settle for less than you deserve. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you doubt yourself, the less you take action, and the less you achieve, which further reinforces those negative beliefs. Breaking free from negative self-talk requires conscious effort. The first step is awareness. Recognizing when these thoughts arise. Often they happen automatically without us even realizing it. Pay attention to the words you say to yourself. Would you speak to a friend the way you speak to yourself? If the answer is no, then it's time to change that internal dialogue. One powerful technique is reframing. Instead of thinking, "I'll never be good at this," shift your mindset to, "I'm still learning and I'll improve with practice." Instead of saying, "I always fail," tell yourself, "Every failure is a lesson that brings me closer to success." By changing the language you use, you begin to shift your perspective from one of defeat to one of growth. Another strategy is using affirmations, positive statements that counteract negative beliefs. Repeating phrases like "I am capable," "I am worthy," or "I am enough" might feel strange at first, but over time they help rewire your brain to adopt a more positive outlook. Just like negative thoughts can shape your reality, positive ones can too. It's also important to surround yourself with the right influences. If you're constantly around people who doubt or criticize you, their negativity can reinforce your own self-doubt. Seek out supportive, encouraging individuals who uplift you and remind you of your strengths. The people you surround yourself with play a crucial role in shaping your self-perception. Negative self-talk doesn't disappear overnight. It's a battle you must fight daily. But every small step toward replacing it with positive, empowering thoughts brings you closer to a mindset of confidence and resilience. The way you speak to yourself matters. It can either be your greatest obstacle or your greatest source of strength. Comparing yourself to others is one of the fastest ways to lose confidence, motivation, and inner peace. In today's world, where social media constantly displays the highlights of other people's lives, it's easy to feel like you are falling behind. You see someone buying a new house, another person traveling the world, or someone achieving success in their career, and suddenly your own life feels inadequate. The problem with comparison is that it creates an illusion, one that makes you believe everyone else is doing better while you are stuck or failing. What we often forget is that social media and even real-life interactions rarely show the full picture. People tend to showcase their best moments, their victories and their happiness, but they rarely share their struggles, failures and insecurities. You might see someone smiling in a luxurious vacation photo, but you don't see the financial stress they're dealing with behind the scenes. You might admire someone's success in their career, but you don't see the sleepless nights, the rejections, or the years of hard work they endured to get there. Comparison tricks you into measuring your behind-the-scenes reality against someone else's carefully curated highlight reel, which is never a fair assessment. Another danger of comparison is that it shifts your focus away from your own journey. Instead of celebrating your progress, you fixate on where you should be based on someone else's timeline. This can lead to feelings of frustration, inadequacy, and even resentment. You might start doubting your own abilities, questioning your choices, and losing motivation to pursue your goals. But the truth is, no two people have the same path in life. We all have different backgrounds, experiences, challenges, and opportunities. What works for someone else might not be the right path for you, and that's okay. To break free from the habit of comparison, the first step is shifting your mindset from competition to inspiration. Instead of feeling envious when you see someone else succeed, ask yourself, what can I learn from them? Use their success as motivation rather than a reason to feel inadequate. Remind yourself that if they can achieve great things, so can you, each in your own way and in your own time. Another powerful strategy is practicing gratitude. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, you begin to see the value in your own journey. Take time every day to reflect on your achievements, no matter how small. Celebrate your progress, appreciate your strengths, and remind yourself that you are exactly where you need to be. The more you recognize the good in your own life, the less you will feel the need to compare yourself to others. Setting personal goals is also essential in overcoming comparison. When you have a clear vision of what you want for yourself, you become less concerned with what others are doing. Define success on your own terms, not based on someone else's accomplishments. Whether it's career growth, personal development, financial stability, or happiness, focus on what truly matters to you. Your journey is unique, and your progress should be measured against your past self, not against others. Lastly, limiting your exposure to comparison triggers can be a helpful step. If social media makes you feel inadequate, take breaks from it, or curate your feed to follow people who inspire and uplift you rather than those who make you feel less than. If certain conversations make you feel pressured or judged, set boundaries and focus on what makes you feel fulfilled. Protecting your mental space is crucial in maintaining confidence and contentment. Incentive is, at the end of the day, the only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Growth is a personal journey, and no one else's timeline should dictate yours. Focus on your progress, embrace your own path, and trust that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Perfectionism is often mistaken for a positive trait, something that pushes people to strive for excellence. While it's true that having high standards can be beneficial, perfectionism is different. It is an unrealistic and often paralyzing mindset that prevents progress, creates stress, and fuels self-doubt. The problem with perfectionism is that it sets an impossible standard, making it feel as though nothing is ever good enough. Instead of taking action and making steady progress, perfectionists often get stuck in a cycle of overthinking, self-criticism, and fear of failure. One of the biggest dangers of perfectionism is procrastination. Many perfectionists delay starting tasks because they fear they won't be able to complete them flawlessly. They tell themselves, "I'll start when I'm ready," or "I need to do more research before I begin." But this constant delay results in missed opportunities and unfinished work. The irony is that while perfectionists want to achieve great things, their fear of imperfection holds them back from ever getting started. They may rewrite the same paragraph over and over, spend hours refining a small detail, or abandon projects altogether because they don't meet their impossible expectations. Another harmful effect of perfectionism is self-criticism. Perfectionists are their own harshest judges, constantly focusing on what they did wrong instead of what they did well. Even after completing a task, they dwell on minor mistakes and convince themselves that they could have done better. This negative self-talk can lead to anxiety, stress, and even burnout. When someone feels like nothing they do is ever good enough, it drains their motivation and self-confidence. Over time, this can create a deep fear of failure, making it difficult to take risks or try new things. Perfectionism also affects relationships. People who strive for perfection often hold others to unrealistic standards as well, which can lead to frustration and disappointment. Whether in friendships, family, or the workplace, expecting perfection from others can create tension and push people away. No one is perfect, and demanding flawlessness from others only leads to resentment and misunderstandings. Additionally, perfectionists may struggle with asking for help because they see it as a sign of weakness. They may take on too much responsibility, believing that no one else can meet their high standards, which ultimately leads to exhaustion and frustration. One of the best ways to overcome perfectionism is to embrace the idea of progress over perfection. The reality is that perfection is an illusion. No one, no matter how talented or experienced, gets everything right the first time. The most successful people in the world have all made mistakes, faced failures, and learned from them. Instead of aiming for flawlessness, aim for improvement. Understand that making mistakes is a natural and necessary part of growth. Every mistake teaches a lesson, and every imperfect action is better than inaction. Another powerful approach is setting realistic goals. Perfectionists often set impossibly high expectations, making it nearly impossible to feel accomplished. Instead, break goals into smaller, achievable steps. Celebrate progress along the way, even if things aren't perfect. Recognizing small wins can help shift the focus from what's missing to what has been achieved. Additionally, practicing self-compassion is crucial in breaking free from perfectionism. Instead of beating yourself up for making mistakes, treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. Remind yourself that everyone has flaws, and that does not make you any less capable or worthy. Learning to accept imperfections doesn't mean lowering standards. It means acknowledging that growth is more important than flawlessness. Letting go of perfectionism takes time, but it is a battle worth fighting. The goal should not be to create perfect work, but to create meaningful, impactful work. Small steps forward, even imperfect ones, will always lead to more progress than waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. Fear of failure is one of the most powerful forces that hold people back from reaching their full potential. It's an invisible barrier that keeps individuals from taking risks, trying new things, and stepping outside their comfort zones. The fear of making mistakes, being judged, or facing disappointment can be so overwhelming that many people choose to stay where they are rather than pursue their dreams. The truth, however, is that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a necessary part of the journey toward success. Every great leader, entrepreneur, athlete, and artist has failed at some point. But what sets them apart is their ability to learn from those failures and keep moving forward. One of the biggest reasons people fear failure is because they tie their self-worth to their achievements. They believe that if they fail, it means they are not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. This mindset creates intense pressure to be perfect, which often leads to procrastination or avoidance. Instead of seeing failure as a learning opportunity, they view it as a reflection of their identity. This kind of thinking is dangerous because it discourages growth. The reality is that failing at something does not make you a failure. It simply means you are trying, learning, and improving. Fear of failure also stems from societal expectations. From a young age, people are taught that failure is something to be ashamed of. Schools emphasize getting the right answers. Workplaces reward flawless performance, and social media highlights only success stories. Because of this, Many people develop an unhealthy fear of making mistakes. They believe that failing will lead to embarrassment, criticism, or rejection. But the truth is, failure is a universal experience. Every successful person has faced setbacks, and the only difference between those who succeed and those who don't is the ability to push past failure and keep going. Another reason people fear failure is the discomfort that comes with it. Failing can be painful. It can lead to disappointment, frustration, and even feelings of hopelessness. But growth happens in discomfort. The moments when things don't go as planned are the moments when people learn the most about themselves. Failure forces people to develop resilience, creativity, and problem-solving skills. Without failure, there would be no innovation, no breakthroughs, and no real progress. One way to overcome the fear of failure is to change how you define it. Instead of seeing failure as an end, start seeing it as feedback. When something doesn't go as expected, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I do differently next time? Shifting your mindset from I failed to I learned turns failure into a valuable experience rather than a personal defeat. Another powerful way to combat fear of failure is to take action despite the fear. Many people wait until they feel completely ready before taking a risk. But the truth is, no one ever feels fully prepared. Fear will always be present when trying something new, but the key is to move forward anyway. Taking small, calculated risks helps build confidence over time. Every time you push past fear and take action, you prove to yourself that failure is not the end of the world. It's just a step in the process. It's also important to surround yourself with the right people. Being around supportive, encouraging individuals can make all the difference. When you have a strong support system, failure feels less intimidating because you know you are not alone. Learning from the experiences of others, especially those who have overcome failure, can provide motivation and perspective. Another strategy to overcome fear of failure is to visualize success rather than focusing on what could go wrong. Many people spend too much time imagining the worst-case scenario, which only amplifies their fear. Instead, shift your focus to what success would look and feel like. Picture yourself achieving your goal, overcoming challenges, and growing from the experience. The more you train your mind to expect positive outcomes, the less power fear has over you. Fear of failure will never completely go away, but it can be managed and even used as motivation. The key is to recognize that failure is not something to avoid, it's something to embrace. Every failure carries a lesson, and those who learn from their mistakes are the ones who ultimately succeed. The greatest regret is not failure itself, but never trying at all. Lack of self-discipline is one of the most significant obstacles to success and personal growth. It is the invisible force that determines whether someone follows through on their goals or gives in to distractions, excuses, and short-term gratification. Self-discipline is not about being naturally motivated all the time. It is about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Without self-discipline, it becomes incredibly difficult to maintain consistency, build good habits, and achieve meaningful progress in any area of life. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with self-discipline is the tendency to prioritize comfort over growth. Human nature seeks pleasure and avoids discomfort, which is why it is easier to hit the snooze button than to wake up early for a workout or to scroll through social media instead of working on an important project. The problem is that short-term comfort often leads to long-term regret. The more we give in to instant gratification, the harder it becomes to develop the discipline necessary to achieve our long-term goals. Self-discipline requires a shift in mindset from focusing on what feels good in the moment to prioritizing what is beneficial in the long run. Another challenge that weakens self-discipline is the lack of clear goals. When people do not have a specific vision of what they want to achieve, it becomes easy to drift through life without direction. Without a strong why, there is no compelling reason to stay disciplined. On the other hand, when a person has a well-defined goal, whether it's improving their health, building a business, learning a new skill, or achieving financial independence, they are more likely to develop the discipline needed to stay committed even when motivation fades. A strong sense of purpose fuels perseverance. Self-discipline is also weakened by poor habits and environmental influences. If someone is constantly surrounded by distractions, temptations, and negative influences, maintaining discipline becomes an uphill battle. For example, if a person is trying to eat healthier but keeps junk food within easy reach, their willpower will constantly be tested. Similarly, if someone wants to be more productive but spends time around people who encourage laziness, their progress will be limited. One of the most effective ways to strengthen self-discipline is by designing an environment that supports success. Removing distractions, creating routines, and surrounding oneself with people who encourage growth. One of the key aspects of developing self-discipline is learning to master delayed gratification, the ability to resist short-term temptations in order to achieve long-term rewards. Many of the most successful people in the world understand this principle and apply it in their daily lives. They are willing to put in the work now, knowing that the rewards will come later. Whether it's saving money instead of spending it impulsively, putting in extra effort at work to build a career, or practicing a skill constantly to become an expert, the ability to delay gratification is a crucial component of self-discipline. Another important factor in building self-discipline is consistency. Many people start strong but lose momentum because they expect instant results. When they don't see progress right away, they become discouraged and give up. The truth is, self-discipline is like a muscle. It needs to be exercised regularly to become stronger. Small, consistent actions over time lead to significant results. Instead of focusing on perfection, focus on persistence. Even if you slip up, what matters is getting back on track and continuing to push forward. One effective strategy to improve self-discipline is creating systems and routines. When something becomes a habit, it no longer requires as much effort or willpower. For example, if you make it a habit to wake up at the same time every day, exercise regularly, or set aside time for focused work, these actions eventually become automatic. Having a structured daily routine eliminates the need to constantly make decisions, reducing mental fatigue and making it easier to stay disciplined. The less you rely on willpower alone, the more sustainable your self-discipline becomes. Self-discipline is not about being perfect. It is about making intentional choices every day that align with your goals. It is the difference between staying committed to a vision or giving in to temporary distractions. The good news is that self-discipline can be developed and strengthened over time. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes to take control of your actions, make progress, and create the life you truly want. Negative self-talk is one of the most destructive habits that can hold a person back from reaching their full potential. The way we speak to ourselves influences our confidence, motivation, and overall mindset. When we constantly criticize ourselves, doubt our abilities, or focus on our flaws, we create mental barriers that prevent us from taking risks, pursuing opportunities, and believing in our own worth. Negative self-talk is often so ingrained in our thinking that we don't even realize we are doing it. However, the more we engage in it, the more it shapes our reality, leading to self-sabotage, low self-esteem, and a cycle of unfulfilled potential. One of the most common forms of negative self-talk is self-doubt. This is the voice in your head that tells you, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, or I'll probably fail. It creeps in before job interviews, important projects, or personal challenges, making you question your own abilities. Over time, this doubt can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you constantly tell yourself that you can't succeed, you subconsciously hold yourself back, hesitate to take action, and ultimately prove yourself right. The truth is, no one is born with unlimited confidence. It is built through action, persistence, and learning from mistakes. The first step to overcoming self-doubt is recognizing that those negative thoughts are not facts. They are simply fears trying to protect you from failure. But failure is not the enemy. Inaction is. Another dangerous form of negative self-talk is perfectionism-driven criticism. People who struggle with this constantly feel like they are not doing enough, no matter how much they achieve. Even when they accomplish something, they immediately focus on what could have been better or what they still lack. This type of thinking creates a sense of never being satisfied, leading to burnout, anxiety, and a lack of appreciation for personal growth. Instead of acknowledging progress, perfectionists often tear themselves down for not meeting unrealistic standards. Overcoming this requires shifting from a mindset of perfection to one of progress, celebrating small victories, recognizing improvement, and allowing room for mistakes as part of the learning process. Another form of negative self-talk is comparison-based thinking. This happens when we measure our worth against others, believing that we are falling behind or not measuring up. Thoughts like, they are more successful than me, I'll never be as good as them, or I don't have what they have, create feelings of inadequacy and make it difficult to appreciate our own unique journey. The reality is that everyone moves at their own pace and no two people have the same path. Comparing yourself to others is unfair because you are only seeing a small part of their story. The best way to counteract this type of self-talk is to shift your focus inward on your own progress, strengths, and personal goals. Self-talk also plays a crucial role in resilience and problem-solving. When faced with setbacks, a person who engages in negative self-talk might say, "This is too hard, I'll never figure this out," or "I should just give up." This kind of thinking can make challenges feel impossible to overcome. On the other hand, someone with a more positive inner dialogue will tell themselves, "This is difficult, but I'll find a way. I've overcome challenges before and I can do it again." Or, "I'm still learning," and that's okay. The way we talk to ourselves during difficult moments can either break our confidence or strengthen our resilience. Learning to reframe negative thoughts into more constructive ones is one of the most powerful mental shifts a person can make. One way to combat negative self-talk is to practice self-awareness. The next time you catch yourself thinking something negative, pause and ask yourself, would I say this to a friend? If the answer is no, then you shouldn't say it to yourself either. Treating yourself with the same kindness and encouragement that you offer to others can help break the habit of self-criticism. Journaling can also be an effective way to identify negative thought patterns and replace them with more empowering beliefs. Writing down your thoughts allows you to see them from a different perspective and recognize when you are being overly harsh on yourself. Another powerful strategy is using affirmations and positive reinforcement. Instead of constantly telling yourself what you can't do, Replace thoughts like I'm not smart enough with I am capable of learning and growing. Replace I always mess up with I'm improving every day. Over time, these positive affirmations can rewire the way your brain processes self-talk, making you more confident and resilient. The battle against negative self-talk is ongoing, but it is one worth fighting. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, and the words you tell yourself shape your reality. Learning to replace self-doubt with self-belief, criticism with encouragement, and fear with confidence will not only change the way you think but also transform the way you live. Surrounding yourself with negative influences is one of the most subtle yet damaging habits that can hold you back in life. The people, environments, and content we expose ourselves to daily have a significant impact on our mindset, beliefs, and actions. Whether we realize it or not, we absorb the attitudes, behaviors, and energy of those around us. If we constantly engage with negativity, whether through toxic relationships, pessimistic conversations, or destructive media, it slowly shapes our thoughts and limits our potential. Breaking free from negative influences requires awareness, intentional choices, and the willingness to create a more positive, growth-oriented environment. One of the most dangerous types of negative influence comes from toxic relationships. These can be people who constantly criticize, belittle, or discourage you, making you doubt your worth and capabilities. Sometimes, toxic influences are obvious, like a person who openly insults you, manipulates you, or brings drama into your life. Other times they are more subtle, disguised as friends or family members who discourage your ambitions, instill fear in your decisions, or make you feel guilty for wanting to grow. It is important to recognize that not all relationships are beneficial and not everyone deserves a place in your life. If someone consistently drains your energy, lowers your confidence, or fills your mind with self-doubt, it may be time to distance yourself from them. Another source of negativity is pessimistic conversations and environments. The way people around you speak about life, success, failure, and possibilities influences your own perspective. If you are constantly surrounded by people who complain, focus on problems instead of solutions, or believe that success is impossible, their mindset can start to become your reality. You may find yourself absorbing their doubts, lowering your expectations, or adopting a fear-based mentality. Instead of being surrounded by those who uplift and inspire you, you may find yourself trapped in a cycle of negativity that prevents growth. Being mindful of the conversations you engage in and the energy you allow into your life is crucial in maintaining a strong, motivated mindset. The content you consume also plays a significant role in shaping your thoughts. In today's digital world, we are constantly bombarded with messages from social media, news outlets, entertainment, and online discussions. If you regularly consume negative or toxic content, whether it's fear-driven news, social media drama, or media that promotes unhealthy comparisons, it can deeply affect your mental and emotional well-being. Constant exposure to negativity can create anxiety, stress, and a distorted view of reality. On the other hand, consuming content that is positive, educational, and empowering can inspire growth and optimism. Being intentional about what you watch, read, and listen to can help protect your mindset from unnecessary negativity. Another major negative influence is unsupportive or close-minded people. These are individuals who discourage ambition, mock dreams, or resist change. They may be stuck in their own limiting beliefs and as a result try to impose those beliefs on you. They might say things like, "That's too risky," "People like us don't succeed," or "You should just be realistic," While they may not always have bad intentions, their words and actions can plant seeds of doubt in your mind. It's important to understand that just because someone else is afraid to take risks or pursue their dreams doesn't mean you should be too. Surrounding yourself with people who believe in growth, learning, and possibilities will help you develop a mindset that fosters success. One of the most difficult aspects of breaking free from negative influences is the fear of letting go. Many people hold on to toxic relationships, unhealthy environments, and limiting mindsets because they feel a sense of loyalty, familiarity, or obligation. They worry about what others will think, fear being alone, or feel guilty for outgrowing certain people or situations. However, personal growth often requires making difficult choices. If you truly want to improve your life, you must be willing to step away from anything that no longer serves your well-being or aligns with your goals. Letting go is not selfish. It is necessary for your own happiness and success. One way to counteract negative influences is by actively seeking positive, uplifting connections. Instead of focusing on removing negativity alone, focus on replacing it with positivity. Surround yourself with people who encourage growth, challenge you to be better, and support your aspirations. These could be mentors, friends, or communities that share your values and push you to reach your potential. Building strong, meaningful relationships with people who inspire and uplift you can make a significant difference in your mindset and motivation. Another powerful way to protect yourself from negative influences is to set boundaries. Boundaries are not about cutting people off or being unkind. They are about protecting your mental and emotional health. If certain conversations drain you, set limits on how much time you spend engaging in them. If someone constantly brings negativity into your life, create distance. If a certain environment makes you feel unmotivated or discouraged, find ways to remove yourself from it. Setting boundaries is an essential skill in maintaining a positive and focused mindset. The influences around us shape who we become, and every day we have a choice whether to surround ourselves with negativity that holds us back or with positivity that propels us forward. The decision to step away from toxic people, environments, and content is not always easy, but it is necessary for personal growth and success. By consciously choosing to surround yourself with positive, inspiring influences, you create an environment that supports your goals, fuels your confidence, and helps you become the best version of yourself. At the end of the day, the battle against these 7 habits is a daily challenge, but it is one worth fighting. Every choice you make, whether to give in to procrastination or take action, to doubt yourself or believe in your potential, to surround yourself with negativity or seek positivity, shapes your future. Growth, success, and fulfillment do not happen by accident. They are the result of intentional effort and the willingness to break free from the habits that hold you back. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight, but every small step you take in the right direction brings you closer to the life you want. Be patient with yourself, stay consistent, and never underestimate the power of daily improvement. The battle may not be easy, but the rewards of discipline, confidence, and self-mastery are worth every struggle. You have the power to take control of your habits, your mindset, and ultimately, your life. The question is, are you ready to fight for it?